Pelosi just went to Iraq, and so did a whole bunch of other people. So the point is that that's part of what we go through, and it's been a transition. You know, I came away from there in August after having had spent a great deal of time with General Casey, and was curious about his strategy for securing, if you will, the country and allowing our men and women to come home. And I was optimistic at that time that the strategy that he talked to me and about 4 other members about was going to work, because he seemed to be enthusiastic about it at that time. Well, it didn't work. And as I saw it go, Ramadan, which was their kind of key point to having security in Baghdad, come and go, it was obvious to me that the strategy had failed. So then the question comes, okay, now, what do you do? Which is what Congress is asking, essentially the administration. How do you move forward? Because staying where you are is not, it's just not acceptable. So the point is, okay, what do you think is the key? And I've talked with, just in the last 3 weeks, 3 neighboring country ambassadors. Actually 4 neighboring country ambassadors. Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, Qatar. And asked them, what's the status from your viewpoint? You don't have the same kind of interest that we do, but yet you have an interest because you're neighbors. And they quite frankly said, we didn't want you here, but now that you're here, you can't leave. So we said, okay, now, what do you mean we can't leave? Sure we can leave. We can just pick up and leave. That's what we decided to do. And they said, no, just understand that would be catastrophic. Their words. This is the Egyptian ambassador talking. And they used analogies along the medical line. One guy said, well, just imagine you're a heart surgeon. You came in here, this is a dying patient, you went in, and it's getting to be more difficult than you thought. You're getting tired. Now what do? You just sew them up and walk away because you know what's going to happen? Or do you stay until you can secure the patient, or stabilize the patient, I guess is the medical term, and then leave? So there are a lot of things, and a lot of my colleagues who have since gone, since that time, have come back with the idea that this is up to the Iraqis. And they have to stand up. If they don't stand up, then it's a loss no matter what. But if they do, with our support, they can stabilize that country, and we can bring our boys and girls, men and women home. Okay? So now the question is, what are the benchmarks that lead you to that point? And there are a lot of benchmarks being talked about. I'm anxious to see what the benchmarks are in the resolution that was just put out of committee yesterday or Thursday, late Thursday. Haven't seen it yet. That is going to be reaching the floor, I think, for discussion this next week. And that's going to be, one of the things that I'll have to take a look and see whether or not there are kinds of things that I think need to occur. From my observation, just quickly, is that if you don't stabilize, I'm talking about from the violence standpoint, then it's a lost effort. And I think most people would agree with that. And the question is whether you can stabilize it or not. And that's a difference of opinion that people have. People like Petraeus believe that you can.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, let me just finish my thought. Right. So what we're going to be looking at is, okay, how do we remove ourselves from this situation? I wasn't there to vote to get in. I don't like the war. I've got some friends who are over there right now that I, feel very, very nervous about. And it's one of those things, nobody likes war. Nobody likes to read about a young girl or a young man down the street who just brought back in a body bag. I mean, that's not satisfying at all. The question is, how do you do it? Extricate yourself from the situation that we're in. And that's where we have a difference of opinion. That's really what I view is the discussion that's going on about Iraq right now. Now, there are a lot of things that benchmarks, and I don't remember them all, about the Iraqis standing up. They'll stand up, fine. That's it. That's the first one. And it goes on down the line. There are more that I think ways that you can demand their performance. And then I think, it's one of those things that we have to make a judgment as we go along. Because I keep in mind the comment from the Egyptian ambassador when he said, look, if you leave, meaning our country, the united forces that are there. If you leave, the disaster will be more colossal than World War II. That's what they said. I'm just repeating that. I don't make that judgment, that opinion. This one coming from a neighbor. And so, pardon?
Who was this person?